Let's talk about different types of pitch. There are ways that you can pitch things. I can think of at least 5 different types of pitch. One that I quite like, that I've seen worked very successfully, is called the Pixar pitch. You can guess where that comes from. Obviously Pixar films, Finding Nemo, that sort of thing, fits perfectly into this type of pitch. And it's a way of getting an idea across in a storytelling manner. And it sounds as though it only works for a film, but it actually works for a lot of different products and services. So how does it work? There are 6 parts to the Pixar pitch. Unsurprisingly, it starts once upon a time. So once upon a time is the setup. That's where you are. Every day, certain things happen. So you set it up once upon a time, every day, that's the norm. And then one day, there's something exceptional happens. So something unusual occurrence occurs, what's often called the inciting incident in a film. Then because of that, that's the next stage, because of that, there's a consequence of that unusual event occurring. And then another consequence, another because of that. So you've got 2 outcomes as a result of that incident, and finally is the conclusion, the denouement, what happens right at the end. So that Pixar pitch, a 6-part pitch, once upon a time, every day, one day, because of that, until finally. It's a storytelling style, but you'll find that you can fit a pitch for most products or services into that storytelling. People respond to stories. They love that. So give the Pixar pitch a try. Let me give you an example of that Pixar pitch. I mentioned Finding Nemo. I've here got the pitch that was used for the Finding Nemo film. So you remember it started off with once upon a time. So once upon a time, a widowed fish named Marlin was extremely protective of his son, who, as you remember, was called Nemo. So that's the first part of the pitch. Second part, every day, Marlin warned Nemo of the ocean's dangers and implored him to stay safe. So that's the second part of the pitch. Third part, remember, it's suddenly one day. This is the one-day event. So one day, in an act of defiance, Nemo ignores his father's warnings. I'm starting to tear up here a bit. Ignores his father's warnings and swims away. Gets lost, hence the name of the film. Because of that, because of his act of defiance, he's captured by a diver and he ends up in a fish tank of a dentist in Sydney, of all places. Then there's another consequence. Because of that, Marlin sets off on a journey to recover Nemo. That's the whole point of the film, enlisting the help of other sea creatures along the way, until finally we get the happy ending where Marlin and Nemo find each other, reunite, and learn that love depends on trust. Isn't that a lovely message? Lovely film. If you haven't seen Finding Nemo, go and see it. I'm sure you probably have. But that's the point of the Pixar pitch. It works. It works through a story, it works through a film, and it's got an emotional connection. It makes people feel good. So next time you see a film, think about how it works with regard to the Pixar pitch. But that's just a film, isn't it? That's just, Finding Nemo, it's just a film, it's fiction. How does it apply to real life? Well, let's take an example. What about Uber? Uber, global company, it's now doing extremely well. It's helping people to get from A to B, and it's taking over from lots of taxi companies. So let's try and put Uber into the Pixar pitch. So once upon a time, there was a situation where there were loads and loads of cabs around, lots of taxis, quite expensive. Sometimes you had to queue a long time or wait a long time for them. And that wasn't absolutely ideal. Wouldn't it be nice if you could ring up? So every day people were ringing up cabs and they were arriving late or something. And then one day, somebody discovered that they could just use an app on their phone and the taxi would just arrive, and you would know the name of the driver, you would know the type of car, you'd have the number plate, you'd feel perfectly safe. And because of that, a lot of people switched away from using traditional cab services and started to use the Uber app and started to use the Uber features. And because of that, Uber became a very successful company and delivered more and more people to the right destinations, until finally it became a global company with huge success because of the way they treated customers and the way they delivered a high level of customer service. So you can work through virtually any company story using that Pixar type pitch. Uber have done it very successfully. They may not have pitched it that way, but my goodness, it works.